Dear students, we are passing a very tough time because of corona pandemic. You are out of the classroom for a long period. But we all know how important it is to stay at home in the current situation. Hope you are safe at home and studying also. WH question is an important topic for you. So today I will discuss about it. The questions which begin with what, when, where, who, whom, which, whose, why and how are WH questions. We use WH questions to ask for information. The answer of WH questions can't be yes or no. For example, the answer of the question what is your hobby or where do you live can't be yes or no. You have to answer this question in word or words. WH questions are formed in 4 different ways. Number 1, WH word plus an auxiliary verb plus subject. For example, who are you, what is it, how are you, who is she, etc. Number 2, WH word plus an auxiliary verb plus subject plus main verb. For example, what are you doing, where do you live, what has she done, when did she come, etc. Shall, should, will, would, can, could, may, might, must, ought to, etc. are modal auxiliary. The third way of forming WH question is WH word plus a modal auxiliary verb plus subject plus main verb. For example, where should I go, what would you like, etc. WH question is also formed without an auxiliary or modal auxiliary. If the word who, whose, what or which is the subject or part of the subject, we do not need an auxiliary or modal auxiliary to form WH question. For example, who called you, who loves you, who hates you, whose phone rang, whose leg broke, what fell off the wall, which horse on, which team on, etc. Definitely you have got an idea about how to form WH question. But while forming WH question from the given sentence, you have to remember 2 points. If the given sentence contains auxiliary or modal auxiliary, you have to form WH question with auxiliary or modal auxiliary. If the given sentence does not contain any auxiliary or modal auxiliary, you have to form WH question with do, does or did according to tense. For example, all of these sentences contain an auxiliary or modal auxiliary. So while making question, you have to use an auxiliary or modal auxiliary according to subject. You have to remember another thing. If the given sentence contains I or my, you have to use you or your instead of I or my to make question. Okay, try yourself. Try to make question from these sentences. Number 1, he is a teacher. The question will be, what is he? Number 2, my name is Rumi. The question will be, what is your name? Number 3, they should go to market. The question will be, where should they go? Number 4, you can take this book. The question will be, which book can you take? Look, these sentences do not contain any auxiliary or modal auxiliary. So you have to make question with do, does or did according to subject and tense. Remember, if the given sentence contains we or our, you have to use you or your instead of we or our to make question. Okay, try yourself. Try to make question from these sentences. Number 1, we live in Madaripur. The question will be, where do you live? Number 2, she lives in Madaripur. The question will be, where does she live? Number 3, they lived in Madaripur. The question will be, where did they live? Number 4, he came home yesterday. The question will be, when did he come home? Hope you have understood. That's all for today.